In 2002, a woman named Lydia Fairchild needed a kidney transplant. Her children volunteered to be tested as potential donors, yet the DNA came back and there was a problem. According to genetic evidence, Lydia was not the biological mother of her own children. Now, how can that be the case? The state accused her of welfare fraud, claiming she must have used a surrogate. But Lydia had given birth to these children herself. There were medical records, witnesses, everything that you need. How could her DNA say that she wasn't their mother? The answer: Lydia is something called a chimera. Early in the development, she absorbed her twin in the room. Now she's two people in one body. Different parts of her have different DNA. Her blood was one set of DNA, but her ovaries were another. Her twin's DNA. So she gave birth to her twin's biological children from her own body. She is simultaneously both mother and aunt to her own children. This isn't science fiction, and it's not even that rare. Studies suggest that about 10% of people might be chimeras to some degree, just not usually in the way that would be detected. You could have different DNA in your blood versus your skin versus your organs. There are cases of people with two different eye colors because each eye developed from a different line of cells. One man failed a paternity test for his own son because his sperm carried his absorbed twin's DNA. Now let's now let's be, now let's think about the philosophical implications of this. We build our entire sense of identity on the idea that we are singular, unified individuals. Your DNA is supposedly your unique biological signature. But chimeras reveal that you might be multiple people merged together. And this begins to demolish biological essentialism, the idea that your DNA determines your identity. It also complicates legal and medical ethics. Who owns tissue samples from a chimera? If different parts of you have different DNA, can parts of you legally belong to two different people? The Western philosophical tradition from the Western philosophical tradition from Descartes onwards assumes that the individual is the fundamental unit. But chimeras show that even biological individuality is negotiable. You might not be one person. You might be a committee that just happens to chair a body. Now, how does it? Now, again, now thank you for joining me for another spooky science. And thank you for joining me for another spooky science segment. If you want to follow along for more, I'll be doing videos like this throughout October.